So we're continuing with Tonglen, and particularly today I want to focus on the first step of Tonglen. So just for a review, the first step is resting in bodhicitta. We might say resting in our Buddha nature. We might say resting in the stability of a spacious shamatha, to what degree we're able to work with that. The second stage is breathing in something mildly aversive, smoky, dark, oily, dense, something we would immediately resist. So it's working with the resistance to trusting our Buddha nature, the resistance to abiding in our Buddha nature, that seemingly automatic habit of self-protection arising in a very neutral way. The third stage is working with a situation that's close to us. And then the fourth stage is expanding that situation. So these are the stages, and I'll review it again as we get close to that stage. But I just want for this morning to begin a series of talks about that first stage, about how to have confidence in Buddha nature. So it's the extraordinary development during the era of Mahayana Buddhism to clearly understand that Buddha nature is present in every mind, and that it necessarily has to be. So one of the easy examples is to think that there are millions of kinds of rocks, are there not? This is the granite state, this is the marble state here in Maine. We have lots of kinds of rocks. And then there is coal. If we compress coal, we get a diamond. If we were to compress marble, nothing would happen. If we were to compress granite, nothing would happen. So this realization that the Buddha had and demonstrated the presence of the realization within the mind was a demonstration that it's a presence or potential within every mind. And we can begin, no matter what stage we're in, to explore that potential, that there is perfection inside of us. And it's particularly difficult in our modern culture because there's a tremendous amount of self-hatred and disparagement and self-aggression. But in the Uttara Tantra, there are a series of really beautiful verses that give 9 examples of Buddha nature. So the key verse that's repeated over and over again, you'll see often in all of the Dharma texts, is first on Buddha nature itself. Nothing whatsoever is to be removed, not the slightest thing is to be added. Truth, looking at truth, truth is seen. So this is a presentation that there is Buddha nature, it is a potential, and there is nothing lacking in that Buddha nature, and nothing in its essence that has to be removed. A companion verse to this is Buddha essence is ever present in everyone, because the Dharmakaya of perfect Buddhahood pervades all. The suchness is undifferentiated, and they have the potential. And another translation of that, the perfect Buddhakaya pervades all. Suchness, or that Dharmakaya, cannot be differentiated. It can't be divided, it can't be separated, it can't be made into parts. And all beings have the potential. Thus, they always have Buddha nature. And I'm just going to put these two verses and the two translations in the chat. They're so essential to our understanding of the path that it's really wonderful to keep them present in our mind. So let me put it in the chat. So the Uttara Tantra then goes on to give several more ways of thinking about how we know we have Buddha nature, how we know we have this quality within. It's not substantial, it's not matter. How can we understand that this is really a truth? And one way of understanding it is to see that if there were no Buddha essence, there would be no discontent with suffering, nor desire, effort, and the aspiration for nirvana. So this is a way of understanding that our Buddha nature not only is present, that it wants to wake up. It's that quality that tells us that there is something other than samsara, that there is something other than birth, old age, sickness, and death, and that there is a reason to be discontented and to have sadness at the suffering in samsara. It's an inner hint that there's a potential. So the companion verse is awareness of samsara's shortcomings and nirvana's quality, happiness, are due to the existence of this potential. So that we can see the imperfections of samsara, that we can see when we're doing bodhicitta, that there's an bodhicitta or loving kindness practice, that there is a spiritual happiness independent of samsara. All of these are things that are telling us that there is an inner essence that is calling us to wake up. So then the Buddha, the Uttara Tantra goes on to give 9 examples, and these 9 examples are gorgeous and each have a different quality to them and a sense of a difference in the level of ignorance and our own blindness. So the first example is that our Buddha nature is like a statue of the Buddha that's hidden in a withered lotus. And sometimes it's called an ugly lotus, in that it's, we're imagining that it's something that's so repulsive that we don't want to look at it. That it's like if it was hidden in a pile of compost, and we have to go in and separate all the compost in order to see that Buddha statue. And so this is sort of the beginning of our investigation. In one sense, it's an example of desire. So we think of the ugly withered lotus as the understanding of desire. So if we think of a lotus growing in the water, growing up from the mud, when we first see it, it is just beautiful and it gives us a delight and happiness. And then it starts to decay, it starts to wither, it starts to become slime. And so we see the passing dissatisfactory nature of all of the sense objects that we think will satisfy our desire. And it's also an example in terms of the revolting quality of it, the ugliness of the slime. I love these examples. It's also an example of the Buddha's capacity to see, even if we think we are that slime and ugliness, even if we were so distorted by anger and hatred that we were in a hell realm and that we were perceived as monstrous, the perfection of the Buddha's wisdom and the Buddha's limitless compassion could see that in that slime is a perfect Buddha statue, and the Buddha's incredible activities respond to that ugliness with all of the activities to help us see a way back to that statue. And then if we think of that first verse, nothing whatsoever to be added, nothing taken away. If we think of that Buddha statue encased by that slime, when that Buddha statue is revealed, it has been in no way touched or harmed by the slime. There's nothing that needs to be taken from intrinsically that perfect Buddha statue, nor is there anything less than perfection in that Buddha statue. The slime, the monstrosity of ugliness hasn't in any way touched the Buddha statue. So these verses and this first example is the beginning of a series of examples, and each week I'll go through a couple of the examples so that we start to have growing confidence that even though this Dharma practice is making sometimes what feels like imperceptible changes in our states of mind, there will be occasions when we see we have grown. There will be occasions when we see there is a dawning of wisdom within our confusion. And we can right now rest in, if anything, the gratitude to the Dharma itself then can even present to us that there's an inner perfection when it's hard for us to believe. And to the degree that we can accept, because we can see the moments when we have a moment of real compassion, a moment of real kindness, that we are in essence the same as our greatest teacher, that seed we can see in us is the same potential. So we can rest in those moments where we have direct experience of the Dharma and a direct understanding of our own kindness and compassion. So let's continue with the Tonglen practice, first by taking a minute and settling our mind, and then feeling in this moment, in these conditions that are so supportive, an opening of our hearts to our mind's spaciousness to the degree that we're able, and a resting in the thought that although we may not experiencing yet, there is a full potential to open to complete Buddhahood in our heart and mind. So let's rest with that and relax into that. And within this openness, this quiet mind, to the degree that you're able to rest your mind in a stable way, we're going to play with our boundaries, our self asserting itself, our sense of, I have to protect this body, this mind. And we're just looking at that moment when we move from, let's say, open and relaxed to tense, or some people call it a contraction. We're open, restful, relaxed, and it feels peaceful to us. It feels lovely. There's a quality of contentment with this. And we want to see for ourselves that the contraction and the tenseness is not a quality that we want to sustain. We want to sustain the relaxed quality, and we want to be able to see that in our direct experience. Essentially, we're teaching us to see when our heart is open and when it begins to close. And this is relative to any level of compassion we have, any level of loving kindness that we have. And it's done in this safe, supportive conditions, so that we're not putting ourselves in any kind of danger or difficult situation. We're gaining knowledge about how our heart mind works so that we can gently create a habit of sustaining the openness internally, no matter what is going on externally. So pick some quality that at this moment for you has a sense of I don't want. So if there was, if your garbage started to smell, it's the day before garbage day and there's an odor in your room. So you're breathing in and you would go, oh, I don't like this. I don't want to breathe in deeply. Or those folks, all those folks in the West, if the air was smoky again and you had this immediate resistance to the smoke, if the air was oily and you had a resistance to the density or the oiliness of the water, it absolutely doesn't matter. You could come up with a different example. We're just trying to find a fairly neutral way of seeing the contraction arising or the resistance arising, recognizing it, and then relaxing again. And then breathing in a relaxed way, settling in the relaxed openness of heart mind, and then trying again with the smoke or the density or the odor. So let's work with this. Just exploring the moment your heart starts to shut down. And now we're moving to the third stage, prepared by the first two stages. So in this stage, we're very clearly taking on something that's difficult and breathing out the freedom from suffering that we may want to hold on to. And so we identify a situation in our lives that's quite dear to us. If you're a mom and have had a child who has a bad cold, if you have a beloved spouse who has a bad cold, if you have a parent, grandparent, and you see them miserable, and you have a spontaneous sense that if I could, I would take this on. I would just lift it from you. I'm so sorry you're suffering like that. And breathing in, we breathe in with that aspiration, and we breathe out that quality of freshness of heart, mind, or that quality of good health, vitality, strength. And we're still trying to see where is that contraction and resistance. How can we learn about it where we're in training? It's only rare people who can actually take on the suffering of others, but we're cultivating the openness to it, the openness to sharing our good health, the openness to not being blind to the suffering of samsara, not being blind to the suffering of our dear ones, but in essence, if we could, being open to taking it on. So it's, again, in a more specific way, wanting to see the openness of our heart mind, being able to work with, let's say, the four immeasurables. May all sentient beings have happiness. May they be free from suffering. May I breathe in so that they don't have to suffer. May I breathe out the gifts and health that I have and offer it freely to them. So it's also an opportunity to become our own Dharma teacher, because even when someone is dear to us, it is a little unsettling, a little frightening to be open to that degree. We might have the aspiration, but then to breathe it in, even though we know it's our imagination, even though we know we're taking it in like a mirage, we immediately see our mind and heart shutting down. So as our own Dharma teacher, we go, oh, honey, remember that you're perfect. Oh, honey, remember that you have this vastness like the sky inside you. Oh, honey, remember that there is perfect spaciousness that can accept samsara for what it is without rejecting it in any way or resisting it in any way, but seeing its nature. Remember, there are no limits. We can freely give our bodhicitta. It's called immeasurable. So that quality of then offering, we will see, oh, I need to keep my health. I can't breathe in this suffering and I can't offer my health. What if I'm depleted in some kind of way? Oh, honey, remember, your bodhicitta has no limitations. It's called the limitless ones, the four limitless ones. That radiance only increases as your confusion decreases. Everybody has a different inside harshness that speaks to you in different terms. So you begin to be specifically your own Dharma teacher in the way that you need to hear that this vastness of space can take in, and this vastness of space can radiate. But we're connecting it to a seed moment that we see and understand that we have a natural aspiration that we don't have to force. So what is it like, even in that situation, to have that generosity of spirit? Seeing the resistance and relaxing. And now we expand. You can expand to one more suffering being, your neighbor, the other folks in the retirement home, the other children in the neighborhood. Whatever expands to whatever extent you can expand, breathing in more with openness, seeing your contraction arise or your sense of limitation arising, relaxing, touching base with your vastness, exhaling your vastness in whatever form. It could be simple. If you like being concrete, it could be a massage or a cup of coffee or a warm blanket. It can be a state of mind or a feeling. And as you breathe out, you see your sense of needing to hold on, not wanting to give away everything arise in whatever form or message it occurs to you, again, touching base with vastness and relaxing. So we're seeing these moments so that we can relax into them, soften them, expand and open at our own rate of speed, seeing the I wanting to assert itself and relaxing right in that moment. So how wonderful to practice together this morning. I want to remind everyone that His Eminence Tritsop Rinpoche will be giving Bodhisattva vows November 14th, and that day will start at 9:30. And we'll go through all of these 9 examples that have such beautiful variations that gradually we start to have more and more confidence in our Buddha nature. So now we're going to continue with the folks who are in the fall silent retreat. You're welcome to stay on if you don't wish to leave us at this point, but I am going to close with a dedication and close the Facebook. So let me put our dedication prayers up. By this virtue, may I achieve omniscience, and may all who travel on the stormy waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death cross the ocean of samsara by defeating all enemies, confusion, the cause of suffering. Bodhicitta, the excellent and precious mind, where it is unborn, may it arise. Where it is born, may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher. I pray that the Lama may have good health. I pray that the Lama may have long life. I pray that your Dharma activities spread far and wide. I pray that I may not be separated from you. For this realm encircled by snow-covered mountains, you are the source of every benefit and bliss without exception. Tenzin Gyatso, you who are one with Avalokiteshvara, may you remain steadfast until samsara's end. Embodiment of the 3 precious jewels, Padmapani, who holds the teachings of the victorious one, seeing the all-goodness meaning with the wisdom eye. May you who are spontaneously established activities live long for hundreds of kalpas. Noble Manjushri, the Lord of Speech, who manifests to hold the teachings of the Triple Gem, who raises the lamp of the sage's teachings, may you who are the light of the Dharma live long for hundreds of kalpas. So for the retreatants and those who'd like to stay, we're going to continue into 12 for those folks who have to leave us. Thank you for being here and practicing together and becoming ever more confident in your Buddha nature. So I'm going to share the screen now. And not quite yet. I'm going to open up our other prayer book so that we start with a reminder of the 16 breaths. We're working with the Sutra on mindfulness of breathing and using the framework.
I think you're still on Facebook.
Oh, thanks for reminding me.